Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive. If you're digging these history deep dives, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Oh, and make sure you smash that notification bell so you don't miss any future episodes. Today we're going to be diving deep into the Maratha Empire.
The Maratha Empire.
Yeah, it's a power that shaped India's destiny for centuries.
Centuries.
This one's for anyone who's into history,
Oh, absolutely.
but especially for those UPSC aspirants out there.
Yeah. Getting ready for that GS1 paper, right?
You got it. You're going to trace the Maratha Empire's journey
Okay, so where are we starting?
from its roots
Roots, okay.
with the legendary Shivaji Maharaj,
Ah, Shivaji. A legend indeed.
all the way to its eventual fall
Call.
under British rule.
Right. The British?
But remember,
What's that?
we're not just memorizing dates and names here.
No.
We're uncovering the why.
The why. Okay, I like that.
Behind the what?
So we're getting the full picture, not just the facts.
Exactly. Understanding how the Maratha Empire's unique identity,
Unique identity. Interesting.
its military innovations,
Okay, the military side of things.
and its social structure
Right, the people, the society.
contributed to its rise,
And its fall, I imagine.
ultimately, and shaped the course of Indian history.
This is going to be good. I can already tell.
Okay, so let's unpack the early days.
Early days are.
The story begins with Shivaji Maharaj,
Of course, Shivaji.
a figure who's practically synonymous with Maratha valor and ambition.
He's like the embodiment of Maratha spirit, wouldn't you say?
Definitely. But he wasn't just a warrior king.
No, more than just a warrior.
Shivaji was a visionary leader
A visionary, huh?
who challenged the established order,
Okay, shaking things up a bit.
rebelling against the Bijapur Sultanate
Bold move.
and even the mighty Mughal Empire.
Wow, taking on the big guys. He had this driving principle, didn't he?
You're right. Hindawi Swaraja,
Hindawi Swaraja, right? Often translated as self-rule for Hindus.
that's the common translation.
But it's crucial to understand the nuances.
Yeah, there's more to it than meets the eye.
Shivaji's vision wasn't about excluding other religions.
You're right. It was more inclusive than that.
It was about asserting the right
To right
of
of?
his people, the Marathi people.
To govern themselves, right?
Exactly, free from external control.
So it was about autonomy and self-determination.
This concept of Swaraja, it became a rallying cry,
Yeah, a powerful symbol.
a cornerstone of the Maratha Empire's identity.
And in 1674, he solidified his rule
1674.
in a truly dramatic fashion
How so?
by being crowned Chhatrapati.
Chhatrapati.
Ah, the coronation.
Pivotal moment. Chhatrapati.
Yeah, it's more than just king, right?
It signifies more than just king, you're right.
It evokes the image of an umbrella,
Umbrella, okay. Interesting.
a protector of the people.
So, a symbol of shelter and security
This title highlights Shivaji's role.
as a defender.
Yeah, as a defender of his people and their traditions.
So it's a uniquely Maratha concept,
Of kingship.
distinct from other titles prevalent in India at that time.
He wasn't just relying on symbolic gestures, though.
What do you mean?
Shivaji was known for his strategic brilliance.
Okay, so more than just symbolism, a brilliant strategist. Tell us about his approach to building the Maratha kingdom.
He understood the importance of defense,
Defense, right. Crucial for any kingdom.
establishing a network of forts throughout his domain,
Forts, makes sense.
often strategically placed on hilltops.
Oh, smart. Natural defenses. These forts, they weren't just military outposts, were they?
No, they were more than that.
What else?
They were symbols of Maratha resilience,
Okay, symbols of strength.
centers of administration,
Right, so governing from these forts
and safe havens for the local population.
during times of conflict, I'd imagine.
Exactly.
And it wasn't just about land, was it?
No, it wasn't. Shivaji also invested in building a strong navy.
A navy. That's interesting. You don't always hear about that.
This often gets overlooked.
Yeah, people tend to focus on land battles and forget about the sea.
The Maratha Navy was a crucial element of their power.
How so?
Controlling the seas meant securing trade routes,
Okay, so economic control.
protecting coastal regions from enemy incursions,
Makes sense. Keeping those invaders at bay.
and even projecting Maratha influence along the western coast of India.
Expanding their reach, I see.
It was a testament to their forward-thinking approach.
To defense and expansion, you could say.
So we have a strong foundation built by Shivaji.
Shivaji, the visionary.
But the story doesn't end there, does it?
It rarely does.
What happens after his reign?
Well, that's where things get really interesting. The Marathas, they face their share of challenges and internal struggles. Shivaji's son, Sambhaji, she inherited the throne.
Oh, to follow in Shivaji's footsteps. That couldn't have been easy.
And he had some big shoes to fill. He faced the full force of the Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb,
Aurangzeb.
one of the most powerful rulers in Mughal history.
Yeah, that couldn't have been easy.
Aurangzeb, he saw the growing Maratha power as a direct threat.
To his empire.
You got it. Sambhaji, though.
What about him?
He proved to be a fierce warrior in his own right.
Really? Another warrior king.
Leading the Marathas in an 8-year campaign against Aurangzeb's forces.
8 years. That's a long time.
But there's a tragic turn in Sambhaji's story, isn't there?
Oh, no. What happened?
He was captured by the Mughals.
Captured.
In 1689,
Aurangzeb did what?
desperate to crush the Maratha spirit, ordered Sambhaji's execution. It was a brutal act.
Oh, wow. Meant to demoralize the Marathas.
And snuff out their rebellion.
What a blow. Did that break the Marathas?
Here's where we see their remarkable resilience.
Resilience.
They didn't surrender. Instead of succumbing to despair, they rallied.
Under whose leadership?
Under the leadership of Rajaram, Sambhaji's half-brother.
Right. Okay. So even with their leader captured and executed,
Even as the Mughals occupied their capital,
they kept fighting.
the Marathas continued to fight. For their vision of Swaraja, they refused to give up.
Incredible. This is where we see a new figure emerge, right?
A new figure.
Rajaram's widow, Tarabai.
Tarabai. I'm not familiar with her.
Tarabai is a fascinating figure.
How so?
A woman who stepped into a leadership role during one of the most tumultuous periods in Maratha history.
Wow, stepping up during a crisis.
She became a symbol of defiance,
Defiance against the Mughals.
rallying the Marathas,
Yeah.
leading them to crucial victories against the Mughals.
So the Marathas are pushing back. What's happening with the Mughals during this time?
Here's a key takeaway for understanding this period.
Okay, I'm listening.
The Mughal Empire, for all its might, was already on a path of decline.
Decline. But they seem so powerful.
Years of warfare had depleted their treasury,
Ah, war is expensive.
and internal conflicts weakened their grip on power.
So they were vulnerable.
The Marathas, under Tarabai's leadership,
Tarabai leading the charge.
were exploiting these vulnerabilities.
Clever strategy. Taking advantage of the situation.
By 1705, they'd achieved a major victory,
A major victory in 1705. What happened?
crossing the Narmada River and taking control of Malwa.
Crossing the Narmada, taking Malwa. That's significant, isn't it?
It signaled the shift in power dynamics. The Marathas were no longer simply defending their homeland.
Right. They were on the offensive.
They were expanding their influence and challenging the Mughals on a much larger scale.
So it's a turning point.
Absolutely.
But just as things seem to be going in their favor, there's another twist in the tale, right? Shivaji's grandson, Shahuji,
Shahuji, right?
who had been held captive by the Mughals, is released after Aurangzeb's death in 1707.
Wow, a long captivity. Released after Aurangzeb's death.
Imagine the complexity of the situation.
What do you mean?
You have a weakened Mughal empire, a resurgent Maratha force led by Tarabai,
And now Shahuji enters the picture.
and now a claimant to the Maratha throne returning from captivity. It's a recipe for political intrigue and power struggles.
So what happens next?
Does Shahuji just step back into the role of Chhatrapati?
Well, that's a story for next time.
You're leaving us hanging. I can't wait to hear what happens next.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the Maratha Empire.
Back again, ready for more.
Last time, we left off with the divided kingdom
Divided.
and the Mughal Empire weakening.
Things are getting shaky for the Mughals.
This is where a new power within the Maratha world steps onto the stage.
Okay, a new power. Tell me more.
The Peshwas.
The Peshwas. Interesting.
The Peshwas initially served as prime ministers to the Chhatrapati,
Prime ministers, okay.
managing the administration and military affairs.
So kind of running the show behind the scenes.
But their role evolved over time.
Evolved? How so?
They were ambitious and skilled,
Sounds like a potent combination.
and they gradually consolidated their power,
Consolidating power, okay.
eventually becoming the de facto rulers of the Maratha Empire.
The de facto rulers. So, not officially, but in practice.
Sounds like a bit of a power shift.
A power shift, yeah.
Did this cause tension within the Maratha ranks?
Absolutely. There were certainly periods of conflict and maneuvering for power between the Chhatrapati and the Peshwas. But for much of the 18th century, this arrangement proved quite effective. The Peshwas, with their administrative and military acumen,
Acumen.
they led the Maratha Empire to its greatest territorial extent and influence.
So who were some of the key players
Key players, okay.
in this Peshwa dynasty
In the Peshwa dynasty.
who really shaped the course of Maratha history?
Well, it all began with Balaji Vishwanath.
Balaji Vishwanath, all right.
Appointed Peshwa in 1713, he was a shrewd politician and administrator.
A shrewd politician.
He grasped the changing political landscape of India,
The changing landscape.
recognizing that the Mughal Empire was declining,
Seeing the writing on the wall.
and seeing an opportunity for the Marathas to fill that power vacuum
It sounds like he was playing a high-stakes game of chess.
on a grand scale.
Exactly.
And one of his most brilliant moves involved the Mughal succession struggles.
Mughal succession struggles.
Okay. The Marathas, under Balaji Vishwanath's guidance,
Under his guidance,
supported a claimant to the Mughal throne, helping him secure power.
they backed the right horse, so to speak.
In return, they were granted valuable rights, including the right to collect taxes
Collect taxes. When?
in vast swathes of Mughal territory.
So the Marathas were basically calling the shots within the Mughal Empire at this point.
You could say that. The Mughal emperors effectively became puppets under Maratha protection.
That's a remarkable turnaround.
It was a demonstration of the Marathas' growing power and their astute political maneuvering. Balaji Vishwanath's strategic decisions laid the foundation for their dominance in the 18th century.
And then his son, Bajirao I,
Bajirao I.
took that dominance to a whole new level, didn't he?
Oh, absolutely. He's often considered one of the greatest Maratha generals.
The great general.
Bajirao I was a military genius. He expanded the Maratha Empire southwards, conquering vast territories in central and southern India. He was renowned for his lightning-fast cavalry raids and his ambition for a pan-Indian Maratha Empire.
Wow, so he really left his mark.
There's a famous quote attributed to him.
A famous quote.
Strike at the trunk and the branches will fall off themselves.
That's powerful.
He believed in targeting the heart of enemy power, a strategy that proved incredibly effective.
But even at their peak, even with brilliant military leaders like Bajirao,
Yes.
the Marathas faced challenges.
Right.
I'm thinking of the Third Battle of Panipat in 1761.
Pandust.
Panipat was a devastating defeat.
For the Marathas, they faced the Afghan Durrani Empire, led by Ahmad Shah Abdali.
Majid Abdali,
It
okay.
was a clash of empires, a bloody battle. That resulted in heavy losses for the Marathas, including a significant portion of their leadership.
Heavy losses.
What were the long-term consequences of this defeat?
The long-term consequence.
Did it mark the beginning of the Maratha decline? While the Marathas showed remarkable resilience and continued to be a force to be reckoned with, Panipat did have a lasting impact. It weakened the Maratha Confederacy, leading to internal divisions and fragmentation. Various Maratha clans asserted their independence, and the empire effectively broke up into several smaller states.
This fragmentation is crucial, isn't it? Because it creates an opening for a new power on the scene.
A new power.
The British East India Company.
The British.
Initially, the British were traders, but they gradually expanded their influence, taking advantage of the divisions among the Maratha chiefs.
So they saw an opportunity.
They employed classic divide-and-rule tactics,
Divide and rule.
playing one clan against another, manipulating succession disputes.
Weakening the Marathas from within.
So it wasn't just brute military force. That allowed the British to gain a foothold in India.
No, it was more than just military might.
They were also masters of political manipulation.
They understood the complexities of the Maratha Confederacy, the web of alliances and rivalries. By strategically intervening and exploiting those internal tensions, they could gradually undermine Maratha unity and advance their own interests.
And this maneuvering leads to a series of conflicts.
Conflicts.
The Anglo-Maratha Wars,
The Anglo-Maratha Wars, right?
which ultimately decided the fate of the Maratha Empire.
A pivotal series of wars.
The First Anglo-Maratha War, from 1775 to 1782,
Okay, the first war.
ended in a stalemate. But the second,
The second war.
from 1803 to 1805, saw a decisive British victory.
A decisive victory for the British.
The Marathas were forced to cede large tracts of territory and acknowledge British paramountcy.
So the British were gaining the upper hand
It sounded like the walls were closing in.
on the Maratha Empire.
The final war, from 1817 to 1818,
The final war.
was a desperate attempt by the Marathas to retain their sovereignty. But they were facing a formidable adversary, well-equipped and strategically adept.
The odds were stacked against them.
Their defeat in this war marked the end of the Maratha Empire as a unified political force.
The end of an era.
It's a tragic end to an empire that had once dominated a vast swath of India.
But even in defeat, didn't the Marathas leave a lasting impact?
Oh, absolutely. Their legacy is profound.
In what way?
They showed that a regional power could challenge and even defeat much larger empires.
So they inspired others to resist.
They instilled a spirit of resistance.
Resistance
Against foreign rule.
That would resonate for generations. Their administrative innovations, military strategies, and cultural contributions shaped the course of Indian history.
So while the Maratha Empire may have fallen,
Their spirit lived on.
and there's so much more to explore
What else is there?
about their cultural and social impact.
Ah, yes, the cultural legacy. We'll have to delve into that next time.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We've been on quite a journey, haven't we?
We have. It's been fascinating.
From Shivaji Maharaja's vision of Swaraja to the Peshwa's expansion and then, well, that clash with the British.
A clash that changed everything.
But even though their military power faded, the Maratha Empire's impact didn't just disappear.
Not at all. Their legacy is woven into the fabric of India.
Today, we're going beyond the battles and territories
Deeper into the heart of the matter.
to uncover the Maratha Empire's enduring legacy.
Their lasting impact on India's social fabric, culture, and identity.
One of the most striking aspects of Maratha rule was their emphasis on something pretty special:
What's that?
religious tolerance.
Religious tolerance. That's something we don't always see in empires of that era.
In a period marked by religious tensions, the Marathas really stood out.
They did. It was a key part of their identity.
They had this policy of accommodating different faiths.
And it wasn't just a matter of political convenience. It went deeper than that.
Okay, so what was driving it?
It stemmed from a deep-rooted belief in coexistence.
Coexistence, all right. Living together peacefully despite differences.
It was a principle enshrined in Shivaji Maharaja's vision of Swaraja, remember?
Oh yeah, Swaraja,
He believed in respecting all religions
respecting all religion.
and fostering an environment where people from diverse backgrounds could live and thrive together.
Do we have specific examples of this tolerance in action?
Oh, absolutely. Numerous instances, in fact.
Okay, like what?
For example, Shivaji Maharaj appointed officials from various religious backgrounds to key positions.
To key positions in his administration.
You got it. Demonstrating that merit and loyalty were valued above religious affiliation.
So it was a meritocracy.
This practice continued under later Maratha rulers.
It wasn't just a one-time thing.
No, it was embedded in their governance structure.
And this tolerance extended beyond the elite levels of society, right?
Absolutely. Temples, mosques, and other religious structures, they coexisted peacefully in Maratha territories.
Imagine that. All these different faiths living side by side.
The Marathas understood that a diverse society could be a source of strength.
So they actively fostered an environment of mutual respect.
Respect for all, regardless of faith.
This is a remarkable contrast to some of the religious conflicts we see in other empires during this period.
It really highlights the Marathas' commitment to inclusivity.
And this wasn't their only contribution to shaping a more just and dynamic society. They were also champions of something else pretty unique:
What's that?
social mobility.
Social mobility. Okay, so moving up in the world.
We touched upon this earlier when discussing the Peshwas.
Right, the Peshwas.
They rose from relatively humble beginnings.
That's right, from humble beginnings to become the de facto rulers of the empire.
Is this a common theme in Maratha society?
Very much so.
Really? Tell me more.
The Marathas placed a high value on talent and merit regardless of a person's background. They broke down traditional hierarchies,
Breaking down hierarchies, that's revolutionary.
creating opportunities for people from diverse castes and classes to rise to positions of power and influence.
So your background didn't define your destiny.
Exactly.
Do we have other examples of this social mobility in action?
You bet we do. Remember Haider Ali Kohari?
Refresh my memory. Who was he again?
Shivaji Maharaja's trusted secretary. He came from a humble background, yet he rose to become one of the most influential figures in the early Maratha kingdom.
It's inspiring. Someone from an ordinary background reaching such heights.
His story, and that of the Peshwas, it illustrates the Maratha emphasis on creating a society where ability, not birthright, determined your destiny.
It's truly remarkable. This commitment to inclusivity, both religious and social, has had a profound impact on the development of modern India.
You can see their influence in the values of modern India.
Their influence extends beyond social structures too, right?
Absolutely. The Marathas also made significant contributions to India's military and strategic thinking.
In what ways?
Their innovative use of cavalry, their network of forts, and their surprisingly powerful navy, all these things left their mark on the art of warfare in the subcontinent.
Speaking of their navy, it's often overlooked, isn't it?
It is. It's easy to forget about their naval power.
We tend to associate the Marathas with their cavalry and land-based conquests.
Charging across the land on horseback.
But their maritime prowess was equally impressive.
They controlled the seas as well as the land.
They challenged European naval dominance in the Indian Ocean, protecting their coastal territories and even launching expeditions further afield.
They were a force to be reckoned with on the water.
And let's not forget their administrative innovations.
The Peshwas, in particular, introduced some impactful reforms, especially in the realm of agriculture.
Agricultural reforms, okay. What did they do?
They standardized the tax collection system,
Tax collection, that's important.
moving away from fixed land assessments to a system based on the actual produce.
So, based on what farmers actually grew.
This helped stabilize revenue collection and incentivized agricultural productivity,
So they were adapting to the economic realities of the time.
ensuring a more equitable and efficient system of taxation.
Their administrative reforms, they were designed to promote stability, efficiency, and ultimately the well-being of the people they governed.
They were governing for the people.
It's incredible how the Maratha Empire, despite its relatively short lifespan as a unified entity, managed to leave such a multifaceted and lasting impact on India.
They packed a lot into a short time.
Their story is a testament to the power of vision, innovation, and resilience.
They had all those qualities in spades.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into the Maratha Empire, what key takeaways should our listeners, especially those new to Indian history, keep in mind?
I think the Maratha Empire demonstrates that history is full of surprises.
Surprises, like what?
It challenges the traditional narratives of powerful empires dominating the landscape. It highlights the impact of bold individuals, innovative strategies, and the enduring power of ideas like Swaraja.
Ideas can change the world.
It also reminds us that studying history isn't just about memorizing dates and names.
More than just rote memorization.
It's about understanding the forces that shape societies, the complexities of power dynamics, and the enduring legacies that influence our world today.
Understanding how the past shapes the present.
And the Maratha Empire, with its rich tapestry of triumphs, struggles, and enduring contributions, it offers a compelling window into the complexities of Indian history and the forces that have shaped the nation we know today.
Well, that's it for our deep dive into the Maratha Empire.
It's been a pleasure exploring their story with you.
If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, subscribe to our channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our future explorations into the fascinating world of history.
We've got plenty more deep dives to come.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep that spirit of discovery alive.